Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Growing in God's Story. When we listen to the stories that God has given us in our special book called the Bible, we have to use our whole bodies to listen. We have to listen with our ears. We have to watch with our eyes. We have to keep our lips quiet, and we especially need to listen with our hearts. Anytime I bring you one of God's stories, I will always invite Jesus to be with us. He promised us that whenever we gathered in his name, he would be right here with us. And so to remind us that he's with us, I will always light a candle because we know that Jesus was the light of the world. You'll know that I'm ready to start telling you one of the stories and God's words when you hear this bell. So let's get our bodies ready to hear God's story.
On the night before he died, after Jesus shared his last meal with his disciples, he tells them that they would all leave him and pretend they didn't know him. Peter cried out, "Even if all the others leave you, I will never leave you, Jesus." But Jesus tells Peter, "Today, even this night, before the rooster crows, you, Peter, will deny knowing me 3 times." But Peter didn't believe he could ever do such a thing. He said, "Jesus, even if I have to die with you, I will never say I don't know you." After supper, Jesus invited all of his disciples to come and pray with him in a garden. Soon a group of men who wanted to kill Jesus came and arrested him. They came to the garden and took him away. The disciples were so afraid they all ran away and hid. Jesus was taken to the house of the high priest. Peter was scared too, but he decided to follow Jesus and the guards to see where they were taking him. He tried to hide in the courtyard so no one would notice him. There were lots of people gathered around a fire in the courtyard. A servant girl who worked for the high priest saw Peter and said, "You were with Jesus." Peter said, "I don't know who you are talking about." The woman turned and went back to the fire. Another woman noticed him and said yet again, "This is one of Jesus' followers." But again, Peter turned to them and said, "I don't know what you're talking about." She returned to the fire as well. A third time, the crowd said, "Surely you are one of Jesus' followers." Oh, Peter became very angry and yelled at them, saying, "I don't even know the man you are talking about." Right after Peter said those words, he heard a rooster crow. Just then, Jesus looked at Peter. Peter suddenly remembered what Jesus had said to him at the Last Supper. You will deny knowing me 3 times before the rooster crows." When Peter saw Jesus' eyes looking at him, he realized what he had done, and he ran away, and he cried.